Some more information about arrays. So arrays are going to allow us to have and manage multiple values easily. So if we have a lot of them, an array is what you need. Doing it like individual variable names like that would work, but it would be hard to manage because the number that references that particular score in this case is not accessible with a variable, and that is the big idea with an array, is that is a value that can be accessed with a variable. So 6.2, you should read through that. I'm going to be referencing 6.2 in this video, so Runestone 6.2, read through that. So a couple of things to highlight that you'll read about is, again, with this, once you've declared an array, like we saw yesterday, that's declaring an array with an initialization list or initializer list. So that has 4 values, or the length of that array is 4. Remember, using .length, that you can then reference those values with a variable name, and that variable name, like in this case, is index. So in this case, I'm getting since index has a value of 3, I'm getting the value right here of the high scores array at 3, and that's position 3. Remember, not count 3, so that's 0, 1, 2, that'd be an 8. But because it's that's an integer, that value index is, so you can subtract it, you can do anything you want with it, as you'll see here, that you have the value index that can be changed, and you could do a random number inside of here. So I could do math.random and multiply that by the length of my array. So in this case, I can multiply it by 5 because there's 5 values in that names array. But a better way would just be to say names.length, and that will tell me how many values are in there. And then if I change my array, I don't have to change my math there. And now I am done. So that particular line 11 here would give me a random value from my names array. So you'll do that a lot in my assignments. But so this chapter is all about traversing through an array, which is simply looping through an array with a for loop, starting with 0, going up to the length. So that would actually end at the 1 less than the length, which is perfect, because if I have a length of 5, the last value in my array is 4. So you'll reference that a fair amount. Take a look at the examples right here. In fact, you should go through and do these now. In fact, I'll give you a second. I would pause it just to make sure you got this down. So why don't you pause this video and complete that activity now. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully you got that done. And then one additional thing we'll look into more as an assignment later is when you start to pass in arrays as method parameters. So for instance, this particular method says mult all. It's going to take in an array, okay, of integers and multiply each of those by AMT, by that amount. So that method, when I do that, so you can see it's looping through that values array. And if I go down to my main method, and then I can just simply take a look at that code right there. I have a num array that if I declare it right there and then pass it in as a parameter into my method mult all, it's going to take and double every value in num array because I'm multiplying it by 2. And then if I change that to 3, it would triple it. They wrote a quick little method here to print all the values so you can see what happened to them. So, I mean, to properly do this, really, it would make a little more sense to print it first, multiply by 3, and print it again. So if I run that, I can see down below what happened. There's my array, before, okay? And then there's my array after. Okay. So anyway, what's interesting here is though, and the book talks about this too, is when you pass in an array, this is kind of key, when you pass in an array to a method like this, okay, numArray just got changed. Okay, I didn't have to assign it back into itself to change it, since numArray is an object. So arrays are objects. Yeah, when you pass in an object, it doesn't copy everything into it. It actually creates a new reference name to it. So that's something we'll talk about more, but pay attention to that part. Read through the rest of this chapter, and then complete the activity on Replit and submit a screenshot on Schoology. Reach out if you have any need for help. Hope you're all well. See you soon.